Okay, hello friends, this is Yusuf here. Welcome to our part 2 of our Crash Course API. So this video is going to be our first video where we're gonna try out some APIs and see some basic understanding of how it works. Okay, so before we go on to the demo, right, I want to give you some basic information which are very common to all the HTTP methods what we are going to learn. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go to the video and okay, fine. So I would like to discuss few things about the HTTPs in general. Okay, so you need to understand something about headers. Okay, when I say headers, there are three kind of headers on a request what we make. Okay, and the request and response. So some things, few are general headers, and some are with respect to request, some are with respect to response. So let's go one by one. So if you take general headers, so basically it is the URL what you are using to request and what is the method you are using, either get or post or put, like that, and there will be a status code also associated with that. So we'll see about status code on the next slide. Now let's see on the request headers. So request headers are nothing but when we make the request to the server, basically the API call, what kind of information available on the headers for the server to understand. So some common headers are something like a content type, authorization, user agent, and accept. So content type is nothing but you are telling the server that I'm making an API, okay, and I may have some data with respect to this content type. Okay, the content type can be a application slash JSON or a text slash HTML and so on. So authorization will come into picture if the server is expecting some kind of authorization token or some kind of user ID password. Those details will be available in the authorization header, okay, on the request. And user agent is nothing but what kind of software you're using to make a request. Okay, it can be a browser, it can be a program, or it can be some other software. So that details will be available on the user agent, just for a reference. And accept is nothing but in some cases the server for the same API request can give you the response in two different format. Say for example an XML output or a JSON output. Okay, so on that case the server might be expecting what kind of response you will accept so that it can respond. So sometimes we will set the accept header as no content type, sorry, accept as application slash JSON, so that we will get JSON response. So if we make it as application slash XML, then we will get XML response. Okay, this is basically the implementation of the API on the server side. So if you take some of the, so there are a lot of other headers as well. We'll see in just a second, but these are all the very common ones. Okay. So the response headers are nothing but when we get a response, okay, we'll get know what is the server which is responding, what kind of server it is. Okay, it's a Nginx or some other web server name, Apache, like that. Okay, then what is the content type it is delivering, and there are others. Okay, we'll see one by one. So the next thing is about the status code. So status code is very important. So when we deal with the API, we should know, we should try to understand the request and response based on the status code itself. So if everything is okay, we get the response properly, then we get a 200 response. Normally it is referred as 200 okay. And in case of the server is creating something on it, like say for example new addition of data, okay, then we'll use some post request. So if server is created something based on our API request, then we'll get 201 for created. And sometimes we will request one URL, but that URL might have been changed. Okay, then the server might be returning you another URL stating that, see, the whatever the request you have made, that is now changed, please use this particular URL to try again. Okay, that is we call as redirect. Okay, for that we will get a 301 response, and 304 is means not modified. We will see that in just a second. And 400 is a bad request, which means if the server is expecting few parameters but you are not passing, so the server is not able to process your request, then it may send you a 400 response. And 401 is not authorized or unauthorized, which means you are not logged in but you are trying to access some URL, then you will get a 401. Okay, so 404 is not found. We pretty much have experienced this 404. Whenever you visit some website, if that is page is not there, then you get a 404. Okay, and 500 is an internal server error, which means you create a request but the server is not available to perform it, or something is down, then we may get a 500. So we will going to see one by one in the upcoming videos how it will look like when we are trying to create the API, and also how we can create a API while keeping this status code in mind and responding with all these necessary status codes. So the final thing which I want to cover is the path and query parameter. So the APIs can accept parameters, right? So that's how the nature of the API is. So it will sometimes expect the parameter to be passed in. So say for example a weather API where you will pass a city name, you will expect the weather of the city. So how the city name can be passed? So it can be passed in many ways. So few common ways are path and query parameter. So in some URL you might be seeing that there will be slash and then there will be some string. Okay, here in this case this 1 2 3 could be a parameter that can be changed, and in some case you will see question mark then a key value pair with the equal to sign. Okay, so this we call it as a query parameter. So these things will be available as part of the request, and the server can parse the data and use it for calculation and respond you with the data. Okay, now let's look into some demo so that we'll be very familiar with this. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just go to example.com. Okay, so when we hit example.com, what we have done is we have created one GET request and hit the server of example.com and we got a response. So how do we know that? Okay, so if you press F12 or if you click on inspect, you will open a developer tools. Okay, so here you could go to the network section. Okay, now I'm just going to refresh the page again. Okay, let me give here as all. Okay, so we are seeing all the requests. Okay, so refresh, then you see your request went from our end. Okay, example.com, and here you can see this is the response we got. But if you go to the header section, here the three headers what we just talked about is available. So general, it will be like what is the URL we used, what is the request method we have used, and what is the output status code we got 200. Okay, and some address and other things. Okay, and if you go to request, which is like what we made, we said we will accept text/html and so on. Okay, if you come down, you will be seeing the user agent, like we are using what version of Mac and then Chrome, so on. Okay, like that. Okay, if you go to response headers, you will see basically content type, content length. Okay, it's a HTML content type, and okay, what is server and so on. Okay, so but what I'm trying to say is when we hit this example.com, basically we issued a get HTTP request to the server and we got a response. Okay, this is also one example where how the HTTP GET works. Okay, we can understand. So what if you want to hit a web service API? So I'm gonna go to JSON placeholder. So this service offers you few free endpoints for testing. Okay, so let me take one here. So here we have let me copy that and put into here. So if you hit, what we are doing, we are hitting that endpoint and we are getting the result. Now you can see this 1 is actually our path parameter. Okay, if you change this 1 to 2 and hit enter, then you will see we are getting the the data for the ID 2. That's how the parameter works. But the point here is, if we take again the Chrome developer tool, so this time we did not get a fancy HTML response, but we got a JSON response, right? So if we go to network tab and then similarly if we try to reload again, so here you will see we are sending the request, and if you see bottom, the response, where you can see that content type is application/JSON. Okay, so that's why we are able to see the JSON response here. Okay, yeah, so the bottom line is the HTTP GET works in a very simple way. You can you can even use the your web browser to test it, but the point is we cannot add any more custom headers. Okay, so let's see what it is now. Now to make a HTTP GET request, what you need is actually a way to invoke a GET request, right? So here we are doing it with the Chrome browser. At the same time, we can either create a program to do it, or there are other softwares which can do it. Okay, one more example what I can give is we have something called curl. Okay, you might be familiar. So the curl is actually an command using which you can basically issue the HTTP requests. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, curl, let me do the same http:// example.com. So what we get is actually the response. The response itself, the HTML data, that's what we are getting, okay. And while executing this URL on the browser, you are seeing this as a web page because the browser is rendering this data, okay. Otherwise we'll just see the data only. So similarly, if I do something like curl okay, whatever the URL we specify here, paste, and we get the data, okay. So this is the way it works. And one more example, we can also do it using Postman, which is actually a free tool available, using which you can create invoke or test the APIs actually, okay. So here it's a GET request. As you can see, we can do all the other options, and you can see there are headers. We can specify explicit header we want, okay. And if we get a send, then we will get a response, okay. And here also you can see headers, what kind of headers it gives, and so on, okay. Okay, so the point is, HTTP GET is a simple method of retrieving something from the server, and it can be executed by a browser for a simple request. In case if you want to add more details, we need to use like Postman or curl tool, okay. And this is how the request goes, and this is how the response comes. So that is the very basics of GET request. In our next video, what we are going to do, we are going to create this GET request by ourselves, which means we are going to create an API which can accept the GET request and respond with the data, okay. So probably we'll be doing it with the Python, but at the same time I will be also giving you the references for the IBMI and RPG thing as well, okay. So yeah, that's it I want to cover in this video. I hope you are like getting started with this API thing. We understand the basics of request, response, and under the status codes and so on. So in our upcoming videos we'll start seeing the demo, and I hope you like it. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, thanks for watching.